Hi, y'all. Do you think you could actually survive off grid in the woods alone? This is the woods right here. Okay. I want you to look at this. You know, there was a guy earlier in the year that escaped from some kind of prison up there somewhere around the Ozarks. And everybody thought that they'd never find him because he went into the woods. Some kind of escape from prison or something. I don't remember the whole story. But look at this. This is the woods, okay? Something happened to me out here. Well, my wife knows I'm here, so they'd find me. But if something happened to somebody going out there hiding in the woods, it'd be kind of hard to find you. But there's no food unless you know what to look for. See, they're right here. I don't know if you can see it, but here's a game trail right here. Goes that way, then it goes right. See it going right? And then it goes into that clearing over there. And then here's another game trail right here. And it kind of snakes around that little tree right there. It's a Mexican oak tree. Snakes around, okay? Comes around here, comes down here, and you could either go that way or this way. Or you could go around down around that tree over there. And I don't know if you could see it, but you could go down underneath those trees over there. See that? Straight ahead. Or you could go left and walk into this clearing area. But the thing is, you know, the skill level required to be able to survive out here is very high. You always got to be you always got to be on alert. Snakes are getting ready to come out, and can't tell you how many snakes I walked by, and my son was behind me, and I was like 4 or 5 inches away from the snake, and I didn't even see it, and I'm looking on the ground for the snake. So I use a long stick now in front of me, you know, to tap in front of me because you can't see them. And if you're out here, everything's out here. The deadly, most poisonous snake, the coral snake, that red on yellow killed a fellow thing, snake. But it's romanticized, okay? Primitive camping. Primitive camping should only last 1 month before you get a structure built, some kind of house. Okay. A lot of people like to romanticize primitive camping, but let me get out of it. Let me start walking out of here because it's gonna get dark real quick. But ow, yeah, see, I just got this right here is a thorn. This is a vine, a thorny vine. But I don't have any gloves on. But see the game trail I'm walking on, and seeing there's another game trail right there. You see it? I could go right or I could go left. See the game trail goes down that way. See the clearing, or I could go this way. Let me go ahead and go this way. But see, I could go that way, or I could come around this way. See the trail heads out this way. But let me go right here. So you could come out into the woods, and I mean, think about this. How long can you survive at home with no power before you have to go to the supermarket or anything like that? Well, we could go a month. Most people can't even go a week without hitting the supermarket or some kind of food store. You know? But look at this. And let's say you do come out here. I want to show you something. Okay. Let's say you do come out here and you find a clearing. Oh man, I got a place where I could hide. I could hide right here. I could set up my tent right here. Okay. But you know, you got a clearing right here and you can make it. But what you don't realize is, you see that hole right here? Something's living in that hole. There could be a snake, raccoon, probably a raccoon living in there. And they've burrowed under this whole area right here. You know, that one little hole right there probably opens up and there's a big family in there. So you can come around over here. You could say, hey, I've got a clearing right here. I could set up my tent. But look the way the water runs, you know? The water kind of runs downhill. The point is this. It's going to be really hard to disconnect from the system. And even if you have land, you know, you got to pay that annual property tax. And it sounds kind of cool, you know. Oh man, I'm going out in the woods and I want to try to survive, but so here's a clearing, and let's go up here. You see how it all changes? Man, I left my snake stick. So see all this brush right here? There could be a copperhead in there. All kinds of snakes like to hang out just underneath the leaves. See the game trail going straight? Let me go show you. You want a stick. I use a stick. Man. If anything pops up, you know, it's gonna split. But you know, it's out here. Let me go over and set this stick up over here. Look at that. This is a better place right here to pitch a tent. It's higher up on the ground. But I've been practicing this, you know. It's going to be hard to get away from the system. In fact, I don't think it's possible. You might be able to disconnect for maybe until you have to pay your property taxes every year. But do you have enough to even go a year or two? What about your milk? You know? Most people haven't talked about stuff like that. I've run a lot of tests on a lot of products to see how long they can go. But the thing is this. That one guy that tried to escape from that prison over there up in the Ozarks, and everyone thought he was going to go hide in a cave and no one was ever going to find him because he knows how to hunt and all this other stuff. He didn't even last a week. I mean, so the point that I'm trying to make is forget about bugging out into this kind of environment right here, because you don't know what's out here. See that? I mean, you got no idea what's out here. I've seen really huge snakes in here. A lot of stuff, and a lot of it's just avoidance, creating the conditions to where you don't run into the same real estate at the same time. But move over here. See, there's my stick right here. I mean, you could walk right next to you could be right on, because the snakes like to hang right off the trail, you know, right off the trail. Like, here's the main trail. Snake would like to hang out right over here, you know. But you see how the trails, you know, when you look at my backyard garden, I try to mimic these trails because you could go left or you could go right. They're all interconnected. We'll go down here a little bit more. But look, it's like this. Very few people have the skill level. How many minutes I got? Man, I already got 11 minutes. You know, the military people have that skill level to live out in the woods, but they can only go for a certain amount of time. You know that Sears, survival, escape, evasion, rescue. Okay, that's only designed for a person to be out in the woods for, you know, less than a week. You know, they're designed to be rescued. You know, there's a lot of you know, people sitting in rooms helping that guy along. You know, for every soldier out there in the field, there's probably you know, in Vietnam it was what, maybe 250 people for every soldier out in the field. In World War II, it was 60 people for every soldier out in the field. But the point is this: just because somebody has all that survival, escape, evasion, resistance training, they can't sustain themselves. You know, get rid of your MREs, and I gotta head back. It's getting dark. But you know, you get rid of your MREs, and I'm gonna get my stick right here. I mean, if something happens to you, you're screwed. I take a lot of chances out here. You know, I can go a couple weeks out here. You know, easily go a year. You know, sheltering in place, right? But look how fast it's getting dark. And can you survive being alone? I mean, humans were designed to be with other people. Now let me go ahead and go until this video dies. Run out of memory. Had a bull. I was out here alone in the woods walking around, and a bull came charging through that fence. Right along my path, right along the path in there. But, you know, it's hard. It's hard to survive. It's going to be very difficult to survive. Stack food, stack a lot of it, stack water, and then think about this. If somebody in your family gets sick and they need emergency medical help, what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn in everything you have? You know, most people are going to turn in most people, when they become hungry, everything that they've stacked to survive, they're going to get rid of to get medical help. That probably won't be any good anyways. But I got to be careful because it's deer season. I get capped. It'll just be a hunting accident. All these deer feeders are going off all around here. See this right here? I gotta navigate this. But even though I navigate this, I gotta make sure there's not a snake in the damn ground right here. I think what I'm gonna do is climb on top. Look at this, it's getting dark. Okay, I gotta be careful here. See this right here? Just moving this stick around. You don't want to walk too fast. I have transitioned into